Hi, my name is Max Frizzalone, and I'm a Maryland criminal defense attorney. And in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what makes a crime of violence in Maryland and how it can be a confusing concept. So, why is it confusing what's a crime of violence in Maryland? The reason it can be confusing is because there are two separate definitions of crimes of violence in Maryland, and they don't agree on everything. Let's first talk about what the two definitions are. The first set of definitions for a crime of violence comes from the Correctional Services article in 14101. That definition is used primarily for sentencing purposes and parole eligibility. If a person has committed prior crimes of violence, they might be subject to a subsequent offender penalty, or if a person is being sentenced, their parole eligibility might depend as to whether or not the offense they're being sentenced to is a crime of violence that will require 50% of their sentence to be served before parole eligibility, or not, and they might be parole eligible after 25%. On the other hand, we have the Public Safety Article's definitions of crime of violence, and while it mostly agrees with the Correctional Services article, it includes more offenses than that. Specifically, we see assault in the second degree there, which is a misdemeanor, and burglary offenses, which, although are felonies, are not considered crimes of violence for the purposes of Correctional Services article. Let's talk about the offenses they agree on. Assault in the first degree, kidnapping, manslaughter, murder, rape, all forms of robbery, carjacking and armed carjacking, and most sex offenses. There are some minor differences there. Sex offenses, for example, in the third degree are crimes of violence in the Public Safety article, where they're not under the Correctional Services article, and child abuse is present in the Correctional Services article and not in the Public Safety article. You may be interacting with the Public Safety article if you're looking to figure out whether or not you're a prohibited person for the purposes of firearm ownership. You may be looking at the Public Safety article if you're trying to figure out if the crime you're committed involving a handgun could subject you to the charge of firearm use in a crime of violence. And while the Public Safety article definition is used for that offense, that actual specific offense, using a firearm in a crime of violence, is a crime of violence for the purposes of Correctional Services article. Can be quite confusing. So if your offense that you're wondering about is not one of the ones I listed earlier, you need to first figure out why you're looking for what is a crime of violence and whether that specific statute refers to either the Correctional Services article or the Public Safety article. More importantly, you should probably speak with an attorney. Good luck.